Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. This lesson will be entitled The Chariots Roll in the Beginning and the Ending of the World by source Jason A. And his video is entitled UFO Mystery in 2020. What you are witnessing is a so-called UFO. Now, if the Holy Spirit is upon you, you understand that these so-called UFOs are actually chariots of Israel, documented in the Holy Scriptures.
Richard Southern is with us once again. And Richard, I'm sure this is a question we've all asked at one point or the other. Are we alone in this universe? Looks like we could soon find out.
This is really something, and I'm surprised this is not bigger news, but I want to tell you about it, Melissa. The New York Times this morning ran a bombshell article on the UFO phenomenon. This is the article. The New York Times reported that the U.S. government still has a very active investigation into this aerial phenomenon and that it will make some of its findings public. What we're going to look at here is video. This was released by the Pentagon a couple of months ago. It was
And Esau is coming out with this information. Why? Because of the holy prophets. The holy prophets has exposed so-called UFOs by the Holy Spirit. And therefore Esau has to come out with this information as well as a tactic to counter.
Shot many years ago by U.S. fighter jets off the U.S. coast, and it shows unidentified objects that defy the laws of physics. So this was released by the Pentagon.
The U.S. Pentagon has been studying this subject for quite a long time and apparently will soon release some of its findings, which remain classified. According to a new report in the New York Times, the U.S. government may have physical evidence of, and we're quoting, off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. The government has also released footage of UFO sightings, including a 2004 encounter recorded from an advanced Navy fighter jet. Commander David Fravor is a retired naval aviator who once saw something he could not explain, that science can't explain.
But still, though, are they admitting to what we've all known?
That's got to be.
Some are truly bizarre.
No way, it broke a sound barrier.
I know.
Late one afternoon this summer, Kent Graham saw something strange in the sky above Winnipeg. Something he simply couldn't explain.
Your eye goes to it right away. It was like an orange sparkler coming down. The sparks went away, and it was just a globe of orange light that started just doing crazy moves.
Moves he can't imagine any earthly object duplicating.
It's unidentified, that's for sure.
And just one of thousands of unexplained objects sighted in the skies over our province.
Look at it, it's behind the tree. What is that?
It's
Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, the Elohim, meaning who? Yahushua and the elected angels, who created the world. Created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of the Most High moved upon the face of the waters. When we focus on moved in the Hebrew, Strong's H 7363, rakap. According to outline of biblical usage, definition 2, to hover, meaning what? To be suspended in the air. Yahushua and the elected angels were inside of chariots. as they attain objectives for the Most High. They moved upon the face of the waters inside of chariots, so-called UFOs, if you can receive this in the spirit. The chariots were here in the beginning or the creation of the world. And also, they will be here during the end of the world. And let's prove that. Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that come from Edom? Edom, so-called white people, with dyed garments from Basra. Basra is what? Modern day America. This that is glorious in his apparel, referring to Yahushua, traveling in the greatness of his strength. Hence, the chariots of Israel. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Yahushua is coming back in a chariot, and the host that's following him, referring to the angels, beginning with Michael the archangel, will be in chariots as well, and the rest of the angels. Acts 1:11. Let's start at verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly, referring to the holy disciples, toward heaven as he went up, referring to Yahushua, because he was beamed up into a chariot, behold, two men, angels, stood by them in white apparel, which also said, You men of Galilee, why standing you gazing up into heaven? The same Yahushua which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. Meaning what? He will return back in a chariot. He's bringing destruction and salvation, and he's going to be in a chariot. Revelation 1:7, behold, he, referring to Yahushua, come with clouds, referring to chariots, and every eye shall see him, literal, and they also which pierce him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so Tawab. Matthew 24:28, for wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. The eagles, referring to what? Chariots. Carcass, referring to what? The elect. Okay? Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness, the prophets, before the face of such as before the face of such as have afflicted him, beginning with the Edomites, trickling down to these other nations, and made no account of his labors. Verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, referring to what? Being beamed up in holy chariots, the elect of Israel, so far beyond all that they look for. This is 2 Ezra 13:6. But I held, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain. Now this is Yahushua. Okay, and the great mountain is what? This fathership, which is what? A chariot of Israel, and flew up upon it, meaning what? He was standing on it. Okay, he's standing on this chariot, this fathership. Verse 7, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So Ezra has likened this chariot to what? A great mountain and a hill. Why? Because it was massive, big, large. Verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Meaning what? These militaries in the Middle East. Okay, the Most High is going to place the Spirit on them to come together and fight Yahushua and the holy angels. All right, so the chariots have been here from the beginning, throughout the course of the world, and in the end of the world. Revelation 11:12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them in the Hebrew, come up here. And they ascended, who? The elect ascended up to heaven, going what? Into or inside of a chariot. In a cloud. The cloud is what? A chariot. And their enemies beheld them. And that's literal. Zechariah 5:1, then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, hence a chariot. And he said unto me, what see you? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is, it's like in the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So basically, Zechariah is giving the angel the measurement of this chariot. Verse 3, then said he unto me, this is the curse that go forth over the face of the world. For everyone that steal shall be cut off, the Edomites, okay, as well as their joint heirs, these other nations. For everyone that steals shall be cut off, as on this side according to it, and everyone that swear shall be cut off, as on that side according to it. So the chariots, they're going to bring salvation for the elect and destruction for 2/3 and these other nations, beginning with Elam. And most importantly as well, the chariots have been here from the beginning, throughout the course of the world, and most importantly, the end of the world. Lord, will you edify. Shalom.